science has named her Portia labiata, just another unassuming species of jumping spider. Her attention is fixed on another spider at home in its web. This is Cytodes pallida, longer-limbed and hunchbacked, and able to spit toxic webbing. Cytodes specialises in catching and eating jumping spiders like Portia. Portia specialises in eating spider-eating spiders, most of whom are larger and stronger than she. Her eyes are remarkable. The visual acuity of a primate peers out from those pinhead-sized discs and the flexible chambers behind them, piecing together the world around her. Portia has no thoughts. Her 60,000 neurons barely form a brain, contrasted with a human's 100 billion. But something goes on in that tiny knot of tissue. She has already recognised her enemy, and knows its spit will make any frontal assault fatal. She has been playing with the edge of the Cytodes' web, sending tactile lies to it of varying shades to see if it can be lured out. The target has twitched once or twice, but it will not be deceived. This is what a few tens of thousands of neurons can do. Portia has tried and failed, variation after variation, homing in on those that evinced the most response, and now she will go about things differently. Her keen eyes have been examining the surroundings of the web, the branches and twigs that hang over and below it. Somewhere, in her little knot of neurons, a three-dimensional map has been built up from her meticulous scrutiny, and she has plotted a painstaking course to where she may come at the Cytodes from above, like a minute assassin. The approach is not perfect, but it is the best the environment will allow, and her scrap of brain has worked all this out as a theoretical exercise ahead of time. The planned approach will take her out of sight of her prey for much of the journey, but even when her prey is beyond view, it will remain in her tiny mind. If her prey was something other than Cytodes, then she would have different tactics, or would experiment until something worked. It usually does. Portia's ancestors have been making these calculations and decisions for millennia, each generation fractionally more accomplished, because the best hunters are the ones that eat well and lay more eggs. So far, so natural, and Portia is just about to set off on her quest when movement attracts her gaze. Another of her species has arrived, a male. He has also been studying the Cytodes, but now his acute eyes are locked on her. Past individuals of her species might have decided that the little male was a safer lunch than the Cytodes, and made plans accordingly. But now something changes. The presence of the male speaks to her. It is a complex, new experience. The crouching figure there at the far side of the Cytodes' web is not just prey, mate, irrelevant. There is an invisible connection strung between them. She does not quite grasp that he is something like her, but her formidable ability to calculate strategies has gained a new dimension. A new category appears that expands her options 100-fold. Ally. For long minutes, the two hunting spiders examine their mental maps, while the Cytodes hangs patiently oblivious between them. Then Portia watches the male creep around the web's edge a little. He waits for her to move. She does not. He moves again. At last, he has got to where his presence changes her instinctive calculation of the odds. She moves off along the course that she had been plotting out, creeping, jumping, descending by a thread, and all the while her mind retains its image of that three-dimensional world and the two other spiders inside it. At last, she is in position above the Cytodes' web, back in sight of the motionless male. She waits until he makes his move. He skitters onto the silken strands, cautiously testing his footing. His movements are mechanical, repetitive, as though he is just some fragment of dead leaf that has drifted into the web. The Cytodes shifts once, then remains still. A breeze shivers the web, and the male moves more swiftly under cover of the white noise of the shaking strands. He bounces and dances abruptly, speaking the language of the web in loud and certain terms. Prey, prey here, trying to escape.